if you have gone ahead and created a Google Apps standard account for yourself already, you will have already looked at some groups. You may already have looked at the groups feature. Let me log back in. Actually, we're looking at Premiere right now. Let me go ahead and pull up Google Apps Standard just to take a look at what you would see in terms of groups inside of Google Apps Standards, because there's a little bit of difference. There in the standard edition, again, we're looking at michaelmilton.net, which is my personal domain name, which we've set up, which I've attached to a Google Apps standard account. If I click on users and groups, I can see groups as one of the tabs available. And this is a feature, a quote-unquote group feature that is really only available to me. I am an administrator who is logged into the dashboard, the control panel rather, and looking at the option to create a new group. And if I click on group, we can see basically that a group is essentially like a listserv. It really is an email address that has attached to it the email addresses of a large number of people. So, I mean, if I were inside of a business and I wanted to create a group of people who were on my sales team, I might call the group sales and then have the group email address be sales@michaelmilton.net. We have a couple of different access levels that I don't really need to go into. You'll be familiar with this type of language. And then click on Create New Group. And here I can add new members. And so I know that Brian Sawyer, Brian@michaelmilton.net is a Google Apps user who's part of my domain. I know that Beth@michaelmilton.net is also part of that domain. So here I would list everyone who I wanted to be a part of the sales club. Let me just go ahead and add myself as well. I'll say there's so many different Michael Miltons. Yes, Michael Milton at michaelmilton.net. And basically I'll add all of these people as owners just to give them all complete access to the group. Now this will take a couple of seconds. And in the standard edition, this is really just email lists. It's not anything like a wiki. It's almost just as simple as an email redirect. So if I head over to mail.michaelmilton.net and send an email to sales@michaelmilton.net, I'll just call that test and click send. Then in my inbox very shortly, I'll get an email. I'm just reloading a bunch of times. Actually, it's taking longer than I want, but take my word for it. It will be the sales user ID for michaelmilton.net will redirect that particular email to my account. But anyhow, there's some limitations to this because only the domain administrator can manipulate these group entries. And if you have a 100-person company, you might have a number of different people who you wanted to be able to create different types of groups for mailing purpose, for bulk emailing purposes. You don't necessarily want to overburden your system administrator with those details. So in Google Apps Premiere, you have that functionality. And you can see that under here I have, under my service settings, an item for groups with the parentheses of user managed. And what that means quite simply is that the group's website that is available in the context of a Google Apps Premier account is something that anyone or everyone, as I, the administrator, sees fit, can access and create groups. And if I click on the settings for groups within my dashboard, I can see that we have again this cumbersome email address, which I could go through the trouble if I wanted to of changing to groups.coffeekooks.com if I wanted to, which I'd have to do through my domain server. And anyhow, by default, anyone in this domain can create groups. So any of you who is plugged into into the coffeekooks.com domain has the ability to create groups. And by all means, if you're feeling like trying something out as I'm going through this, go ahead and create a group for yourself. There are a number of visibility settings here, as there are everywhere else inside of Google Apps. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this particular group into the address bar of my browser. And in fact, I, Michael Milton, am listed as an administrator on the Google Apps account. But just to prove to you that this works for people who are not administrators, I'm going to sign out. And I actually have a sort of dummy account that I created called MM2, and my alter ego, I guess. And MM2 is just a standard account. It has the same permission level as everybody else who I added to the coffeekooks.com installation. Now, this is a slightly user-friendlier way of setting up a group. I can click on Create a Group just to follow the 3 simple steps. And I'll name my group, and let's call it Fishing Enthusiast, since we appear to be diversifying from coffee away into fishing. And automatically it fills in what it thinks might be the group email address, fishing-enthusiasts. I'm just going to call it fishing@coffeekooks.com. It gives me a web address, again, a long and cumbersome email address, or URL that we can use to access the group. And I'll just add a description because it demands it. And then again, I have a list of different access levels, which we don't necessarily need to go to in any greater detail. I'm just going to call this public, which allows anyone at coffeekooks.com. You may remember a moment ago, back over in the control panel, let's go ahead and go back there. We go over to, actually I can't go to the control panel because I'm not logged in as an administrator. But anyhow, in the control panel, if you were watching carefully, you might have noticed that I have the ability as the administrator to make it possible to share our Google Apps group with the broader world. And right now I have it so that the most liberal access level that is available to people is anyone at coffeekooks.com. So I'll go ahead and create the group. It says anyone can join, post messages, view the list, and read the archives. If this was a real business, it might be that we wanted to create a private group to discuss more sensitive issues. So if we were a large business, we could have a Google group associated with finance, and they're going to probably chat about sensitive issues, and I would have the ability at that screen to conceal the group from people who weren't necessarily authorized to take a look at it. Again, it says in this space where I would normally be able to invite by email, your domain is closed. You cannot invite email addresses outside of your domain. If I was a user, if I was MM2 and I objected to that for some good reason, I could go to the system administrator and ask for him or her to relax the access conditions for that for the Google Groups application, so that I would have the ability to, allow people from outside the domain into the group. So now we can enter in the addresses of people to invite. I'm just going to add a couple of A's here. A couple of B's, and I'll invite myself. So here are the first people that I want to invite. In fact, I could actually, if I wanted to, just go ahead and add those people to the list by clicking over here at add members directly. Actually, hold on. Oh, I tried to copy and paste all those email addresses. I'll just go ahead and quickly type in a couple more here. Okay, and say welcome to our new group. And what will happen now is the people who I listed here will receive an email notifying them that they've been added, and I can set up default subscription options for everyone. It may be that if it's a critical email, basically everybody needs to get every email that is sent as it is sent, or alternatively, maybe I could send them a daily digest. I'm just going to go ahead and add members. So here we go. We've created a group. This is the email address. Any emails, even if they come from outside of the domain, to phishing@coffeekooks.com will be forwarded to the people that I added to the group. And here's the homepage where people who are plugged into my Google Apps account will be able to go to that homepage in order to take a look at what's happening in the group, or if they're interested in joining the group. So if I click here, I'll just create another welcome message. And go ahead and post that. And it says that my message will appear in Phishing Enthusiasts momentarily. Brian has gone ahead and added his own little topic, and I can go in there myself and reply to it and just say me too. And the individual who has experience working with Yahoo groups or other listservs or message boards is going to certainly be familiar with this, and hopefully many, if not most of you, already are also. This is kind of a message board combined with a listserv, basically. You have the ability to send emails to everybody who's listed in the group, and you have a single location that everybody can go to create threads and comment on them as is necessary. And when it comes, this is another one of these things that in a business context could potentially be extremely useful. I mean, people will collaborate in many, many different ways. And I know with the company that I work for now, we have a bunch of different web applications that people use depending on what their department they are in for collaboration. And it may be that a Google group is exactly the type of platform that you would need to do whatever specific collaboration that it is that you need to do. And groups, just to recap, for the standard edition are mainly email forwarding mechanisms to groups of individuals, and they can only be coordinated at the administrator level. But when you upgrade to the Premier level for fee, you have this new application that's available to you, which not only allows administrators to create email lists, but it allows anyone, if that's what you want to do, who's in your organization or in your Google Apps installation, to create lists and write emails that will forward to groups of people, and also to, instead of looking at those threads inside of the email readers, pull up this nice groups web page that summarizes everything together in one place. So that just sort of to summarize, in terms of like big pieces of Google functionality that Premier gives you, it's going to be video and groups. And it's kind of funny that those particular upgrades are not necessarily individually, except for perhaps some users, really, really radical changes, really, really radical additions. And I think that probably speaks to the fact that Google Apps Standard is actually quite powerful for a variety of different groups. But between those two big pieces of functionality and the very long list of email enhancements and security options that you get, and just overall administrative control, together that compromises the difference between Standard and Premier.